So, welcome to Bede's mental health yoga 30-minute session. You will need a blanket or even a jumper, something that you can roll up. My idea for this class was to share with you some of Bede's students' favorite things to do in yoga, which surprise, surprise, involves quite a lot of laying down and just being really. Hence the blanket. So if you need to pause this and just go find one, then do so. Other than that, you shouldn't need anything else. Just a quick little thing. If you are watching me demo stuff, just be aware that my big toe is broken, so I won't be doing anything which involves that bending. But please go ahead for yourself. This is perfectly great for beginners. We'll take things really slowly, we'll mobilize, we'll do a little bit of standing stuff, and then we'll come and spend 10 minutes with our blankets on our back, just loving life, hopefully. Okay, so find a place that feels comfortable for you. And this at the minute could be in the chair. And then just start to allow the tops of the shoulders to be that little bit wider. And allow your shoulder blades just to roll down your back. You might take your fingers in between the upper and the lower jaws and just try and get a little bit of space in there. You might even run the fingers around the eye sockets. And at some point, just notice that that breath has just got a little bit freer. You might have even noticed that there's a sigh that's just happened. And then keep that really lovely, easy breath. As we inhale, we're just going to nod the head over to one side. We're going to pause there and exhale, see if we can soften down into it. Inhale as the chin nods forward. Exhale as we soften down. Inhale as we go over to the other side. Exhaling as we soften. Inhale, take the head just a little bit back. Exhaling to soften. Doing that once more. Inhale over to the side. Exhale, drop down. Inhale, chin into chest. Exhaling to soften. Inhale over to the other side. Exhale to soften. Inhale, chin a tiny bit up. Exhale to soften. Inhale, move your head so that it's in line with the spine. If you close your eyes like me, you might want to blink them open. As you exhale, rock the weight back if you've been sat cross-legged and recross. From here, as we inhale, you can lift the arms all the way up. As we exhale, move them over to the right. One hand behind, one hand across. Inhale, we open up that top arm. Take that arm that's behind you to your side. And exhale, see if you can find a little bit of room through the sides of the ribs. You might have to kind of lean into them. Draw in the belly. Inhale as you pop that arm open. And exhale as you fold forward in any way. Inhale as we rise up. Crossing the wrists, spreading the fingers, taking the elbows back. And as we exhale, chest comes forward, elbows behind. Inhale as we bring our hands together. Pausing here on the exhale. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhaling to the other side. Inhale, open the arms. Exhale, arm that was behind you comes to your side stretch. Find some connection with the belly, draw it in, and then lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale as you lift the arms. Cross the wrist the other way if you remember. And then drawing the elbows back, chest forward. Bring your hands into center. And we're going to do that twice more. If you need to change your leg position, please do. You can even do this in a chair. It doesn't have to be cross-legged. Or I should do that. If you are cross-legged, rechange. Inhale, bring the arms all the way up. Exhale, that lovely little twist. Inhale as you open up the arms, one arm comes to your side. Exhale, up and over. Connect to the belly, draw it in, inhale. Exhale, fold forward, whatever that looks like, whatever that means to you. There's a folding, a lifting, a sinking. Inhale as you rise. Cross the wrists and the arms back. And bring the chest forward as you drip your hands down. Take the palms together. Next, inhale, lift the arms. Exhale over to the side. Inhale as you open up. And exhale up and over. Find the belly, draw it in. Inhale as you lift. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale as you lift all the way up, crossing the wrists. Exhaling, hands come down, chest is forward. Inhaling, hands together. Take your time, you can let go of the breath, just regular normal breathing. Transition however you want to hands and knees. So this is one of these postures where we tend to really enjoy it, but actually it's one of those ones that it can be really embarrassing. So you probably won't walk past the pavilion and see us doing it. But nonetheless, we really enjoy doing it. So we're going to cat-cow. And we're going to use the breath as well. So as we exhale, there's a rounding and a little arcing through the upper back. As we inhale, there's a dropping down of the chest, a lifting of the hips, and maybe a lifting of the head. Exhale as we round. Inhale as we lift. Exhale as we round. Inhale as we lift. Now, if you want, we can continue doing this, but we'll add the feet. As we round, we keep the feet down, but we push the toenails into the ground. As we come up, we tuck the toes. Obviously, don't look at my toe. And we push the tops, the toe, not the top, sorry, the toe pads into the ground. So we exhale, push the toenails in. And we inhale, tuck the toes, press into the tucked toes. And that's going to give you a little bit more of an arc. And then just find a neutral stance. In fact, let's just come off of our hands for a minute. You can just make some little stars. Do whatever you need to do. And then when your wrists feel like they're happy, bring them back underneath the shoulders and we come into just regular tabletop so the back is neither arched nor round. From here, right arm, left leg stays on the floor but they go long. Poof. Try and keep the hips as they are. So try not to allow them to do loads of crazy funky moves. And then just lift the arm, lift the leg. And then exhale as you drop them back down. Inhale as we lift. If, like me, you've just sunk in to that standing arm, see if you can rebound a little bit so there's less sink through the shoulders. Inhale as we lift. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Hold it here. As we exhale, we're going to bring that little round this and lift up. So elbow and knee somewhat closer together, around through the spine. And then drop the palm, drop the knee. Sit back if that feels comfortable. If your feet feel tight, you can sit back with flexed feet. And then just roll through the wrists. We're going to stay here just for a couple of breaths, just making sure the wrists and the hands feel all right. If you've done like a lot of marking or anything that's involved lots of typing or anything, you might like just to have a little bit of massage through the hands and the wrists. I like to kind of pull the skin down away from my wrist and then make little fists. And that's sometimes really nice. Give some space to the fingers and the wrist. Another couple of breaths. Then we've got to do the other side. Gently come back into your tabletop. From here, left arm, right leg stays on the floor but goes long. As we inhale, we lift. And as we exhale, we lower. Inhale as we lift. Exhale to lower. Hips really, really steady. Inhale to lift. Exhale, take 2 more. And again, just check in that hand of the arm is not kind of sinking in. And then stay here. When you next find yourself exhaling, draw the elbow and the knee somewhat more closer together. So there's a little roundness going on, a shrugging in. And then hand comes down, knee comes down. Oh, you can have a little bit of a shake. Maybe a figure of 8 if it's there. Okay. From here, we're going to come into runner's lunge. So however you want to get there, whatever's available to you. For me, I like to come onto my fingertips. And then from my fingertips, I've got space enough to take one leg through. You might decide that you're going to come over to one side and bring that leg through here. Entirely up to you, but let's keep the right leg in front. So hands are down, back toe is tucked, which I'm not going to do, and back knee is lifted. In fact, I can do that if I roll. Oh, by the way, yoga didn't break my toe, just in case you're thinking there's a rubbish advert for yoga. So we're in a runner's lunge, but everything's facing forward. So my back toe isn't, but imagine it is. And then from here, we're going to land the back toe. I've said back toe, what I meant is back heel. I'm going to land that back heel. I'm going to lift all the way up to Warrior 2. We're going to flow from Warrior 2 to Warrior 1. Warrior 2 is here. One arm is in front, one arm is behind. Front knee stays bent over the ankle because we're going to stay with this stance for a while. Back foot turns somewhat to the long edge of your mat. I like to be a little bit more diagonal. So the foot comes a little bit more towards that top left corner as opposed to running along the long edge. And that's going to give me a little bit more space for my hips because my hips aren't massively spacious. So hopefully we're feeling something, maybe possibly in our ankle, probably in our inner thigh. Hopefully we're feeling some work through the legs as well. And then if you haven't already set the arms into here, I've gone super long now, which is going to make life really interesting. From here, as we inhale, we're going to make our way to Warrior 1. So let's grab the arms. Inhale, we take our arms up by our ears. Lovely. And as we do that, we also turn our chest slightly more forward. So we take our arms up and the chest comes slightly more forwards, towards, but not absolutely, the front of the mat. Warrior 1. As we exhale, one arm in front, one arm behind, chest and hips come a little bit more towards the long end of the mat. Inhale, chest and hips towards the front. Exhale. Yum. Inhaling. Try and keep that front knee bent. I know it feels a bit strong. Exhaling. We're just taking 2 more. Inhaling. Exhaling. Last one, inhaling. And exhaling. Really nice. Straighten up that front leg, just shake it out. From here, we're going to come into tree balance. So turn that back toe. Imagine that I've done that. Land the heels back into that runner's lunge. And then with a little bit of a wriggle forward and back, you're going to come into forward fold. Uttanasana. And then from here, all the way to stand. Right leg stays down. All of the weight starts to come through that right side. As you exhale, left leg really light. Hike that left hip up a little bit. And then take that leg maybe onto the calf. If you want to work a little bit more strength, just allow it to hover off. And try and keep the hips in line. So what tends to happen is we tend to kind of go like that. If you can. If you feel that your balance is super good and you're totally doing wonders, you might take your arms up and maybe allow the eyes to follow the arms up to the ceiling. And we just stay here and breathe. Last 2 breaths. Whenever you next exhale, arms come down, head comes down. Take that foot down. Do a little bit of a figure of 8, just check in with the hips, make sure everything feels okay. And then we'll come into the other side. Come into your forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need. Walk the hands a little bit forward and you should be able to come into your hands and knees position. Come onto your fingertips so you've got space to take the left leg through. Otherwise, however you want to get into Warrior 2 is good with me. Come up first into runner's lunge, have a little check. Front knee stays bent. Up. And then back heel lands. We once again come into Warrior 2. So we check in with this side as well. Front knee and ankle hopefully stay as much in line as we can possibly muster. One arm comes forward, one arm comes back. There might be a little bit of a wriggle. And then we're checking with that back toe. So again, I like to have my back toe facing diagonal. So it's kind of facing the top right-hand corner of my mat as opposed to the long edge. That just gives me a little bit more space. So feel free to try. If when you do that, the heel rises, because there's not quite enough room in the ankle, that's totally fine. You can let it happen. Anyway, settle the arms down. From here, as we inhale, we turn everything forward. We rotate, chest, hips, arms. Exhale as you move back to the long edge, Warrior 2. Inhaling, Warrior 1. Exhale, Warrior 2. Inhaling, Warrior 1. Exhaling, Warrior 2. Just 2 more. Inhale, Warrior 1. Exhale, Warrior 2. Last one. Inhaling. Exhaling, Warrior 2. From here, we're going to come down and come into our tree. Drop the hands for the front foot. From here, there might be a little bit of a spring, some weight transfer. And then at some point, you feel that you can come all the way up. If it doesn't work, who cares? No one can see you. Take a breath and on an inhale, lift yourself up to stand. Left leg, really strong. All those toes finding the earth. And then gently as you exhale, press down. Lift the right leg up. Bring it to the calf if that feels all right. Try not to kick the foot out. And then stay here. If that feels like amazing, take the arms up. If the balance is still there, I'm going to put my toe down actually. Then you can take your eyes and your gaze up to the ceiling, which is going to change the weight of your head going through your body, and also change what you're looking at, which is making it a little bit less easy to balance. Take 2 more breaths. And then take your head and your arms back down into alignment. Gently pop that foot back onto the ground, and again, just checking with the hips. Oh, you made it. And then however you want to come down, we're going to grab our blanket, maybe get a sip of tea, whatever we've got, and come lay down. If you want to be fancy pants, you can cross at your ankles, take your arms forward, and then this was a bad idea with my 2, and then come into a cross-legged. Okay, first thing we want to do with this blanket is know that we are in complete control of the size. If it is too small, we can fold it up. So after help of actually I was on screen. So we can roll it up. If it's too big, we don't have to have it all rolled. Half of it can be like that, and we can lay on that half. The first thing we're going to do is pop this blanket underneath the back of our neck. And what we want is the back of the head to be on the floor, but this whole space underneath behind our neck is totally filled. So once you've rolled, and again, don't let me rush you, we've got plenty of time. We've got full 10 minutes to really, really use this time. And it might be that you really kind of get into it and you pop on your favorite yoga music or something really nice and chilled. And then you just check. Okay, now for me, that's not quite enough. It feels nice, but I don't totally feel like my neck can relax. So I'm going to roll up a little bit more. Probably a couple of rolls. Oh, it's getting there. Okay, that's it. So don't accept second best when it comes to restorative yoga postures. It's got to kind of do that. Oh yeah, you've got it. Once you feel like that rolled blanket or that rolled jumper or whatever you're using is where you need it to be, you can just have a little bit of a shake through the shoulders. You might move the head a little bit. And maybe you bend the knees and just allow the inner knees to fall together. And then just be here. And we're going to be here for about a minute. If it makes sense for you to close your eyes, please do. If you do feel like you want to stay here, absolutely. Stay there for a little bit longer, you won't miss a thing. If or when you want to move along, we're going to take this same blanket and we're going to pop it in the same line as kind of like our armpits. So it's still going to be on the back of us, but it's roughly going to be about here. And that's hopefully going to lift our chest and lift our ribcage a little bit. And hopefully it feels really nice on that whole line that tends to be a little bit kind of crunched. So only when you're ready to move. And remember, you might need less of a roll now than you did for your neck. I'd say probably one roll less. And then check it out. So it's kind of in line with your armpit. So it's on your shoulder blades somewhat. And hopefully what we're looking for is this sense of expansion through the chest and the collarbone. And a little bit of length through the front of the neck. And in fact, I need a little bit more than that. Only once you've got comfy, you might decide to change the legs. So rather than the knees being bent and the inner knees being together, you might do the opposite. Maybe the soles of the feet together and the knees fall apart and you make that lovely diamond shape. Once you feel like the blanket's in the right place, maybe the arms come out to your side. There's a really soft yielding. And we just stay there for about a minute. Again, if this feels really nice and it's doing something pretty good for your body, then why move? Why change it? If you're ready to do something a little bit different, we're going to bring this rolled up blanket a little bit lower. So roughly maybe an inch and a half underneath our shoulder blades, about 4 centimeters, I guess, underneath the shoulder blades. So what we're really trying to do is kind of that top bit of the diaphragm. So hopefully when we get onto this, it feels like that as we breathe, it's like a little massage going through our back and those accessory muscles of the breathing, and our diaphragm just gets that little bit of touch, a little bit of a massage. And again, hopefully might feel really nice. So this is definitely not on the shoulder blades, definitely underneath. And again, you choose the height, the size of that roll. And for me, it feels like my kind of mid ribs are really spreading. And then, yeah, every time I breathe in, I can feel that just gently press the blanket. Maybe for this one, your legs go straight. Maybe you pop your arms up over your head. Maybe even you interlace your hands and bring the palms onto the top of your head, only if that feels comfy. And there's like a little press down onto the skull. Maybe. If you're able to, either look at one spot on the ceiling or just simply close your eyes. And if you're able to take longer breaths, do so. But keep them free and keep them easy. And then once again, if it feels really nice to stay there, stay. Or, this one's probably the really easy transition, we simply arc our lower back and move the blanket to our lower back. So that's that bit on our spine which curves, the bit that we tend to not do. And this, because it's already curved, it's one of our secondary curves, we probably can take a little bit more of a roll in the blanket. So you might get there and think, yeah, it feels nice, but actually I need a little bit more. You might even double that roll blanket. And again, just lay there. I'm going to leave you there just for a little bit. If you're ready to move out and come back to whatever the rest of the day holds, wonderful. You can gently bend the knees, pop the soles of the feet onto the ground and lift the blanket off. If you want to continue and maybe stay, then absolutely do. When you're ready to roll over, gently roll onto one side. When you're ready to sit upright, gently sit upright. And then allow the arms to go wide and take them up. See if you can feel both sides of your body meeting as the palms join. And then you can bring them through into your heart. Namaste.